Roman civilization lasted more than 1000 years. After an initial phase of kingship, power in Rome was in the hand of republican institutions, which lasted more or less continuously up to the half of the 1st century BC. The transition from the Roman Republic to the Empire is a process which started with Julius Caesar and was brought to completion by his adoptive son, Octavian, later called Augustus, at the end of the 1st century BC. Celestial matters played a prominent role in the foundation of Augustus' absolute power. Indeed, we might say that Augustus' power was born under a lucky star. The historian Pliny the Elder informs us that in 44 BC a comet appeared on the occasion of the games that Augustus was celebrating after the death of his father. People gave to this star the meaning that the soul of Caesar had been accepted among the immortal gods. The appearance of this comet was therefore of great help in constructing the divine nature of the Roman Emperor by means of a mechanism of astral immortality and ascent to the heavens called katasterism, which had very ancient roots. In fact, since Caesar had become a god, Divus Julius, Augustus could claim himself as Divi Filius, the son of a god. The celestial omen of the comet was also taken to symbolize the beginning of a new golden age, of which Augustus was, it goes without saying, the natural leader. Augustus thus claimed to be an intermediary with the gods and keeper of the cosmic order, in line with a tradition stemming from the millenarian power of the Egyptian pharaohs and re-established by the Hellenistic monarchs. As we already know, imposing the cosmic order also means assuring the regularity of the calendrical cycles, and so Augustus completed the Julian reform of the calendar introduced by Caesar. The association between Augustus and the calendar was made visible by means of a complex and ambitious urban project in the district of Rome called the Campus Martius. Campus Martius is today the place of the main Italian government institutions. It was designed by Augustus' son-in-law Agrippa as a sacred space where the divine rights of the ruler and his achievements were made concrete as monuments on the earth. It contained the Ara Pacis, a marble altar celebrating the ruler and his family, the mausoleum tomb for Augustus' family, which is a huge circular building surrounded by trees, a sun dial which had an Egyptian obelisk originating in the Sun Temple of Heliopolis as a giant gnomon. The obelisk is visible today near the original location in Montecitorio Square. And finally, the Pantheon, a temple which was later destroyed by fire and reconstructed by Hadrian. In addition, Augustus adopted another powerful celestial icon to legitimize his power, a zodiacal sign. He was born on the 23rd of September under the sign of Libra. In spite of this, he chose as the basic leitmotif for his power from the stars another sign, the Capricorn. The Capricorn iconography was widely disseminated throughout the empire by various means, such as coins and emblems of legions. But why? The Capricorn was the sign associated with the winter solstice, although due to precession, the midwinter sun was starting to rise in Sagittarius. As we have seen, the winter solstice was identified in countless cultures as symbol of rebirth, and therefore it comes as no surprise that Augustus' new era iconography was linked with such a celestial icon. Interestingly, the ruler's association with the winter solstice appears to have influenced also the planning of newly founded towns. This is particularly apparent at Augusta Praetoria Salassorum, today's Aosta in northern Italy. The town was founded by the Roman army in 25 BC, shortly after the war against the Salassi, the original inhabitants of the region, would block the consular road leading to Gaul. The foundation of Aosta therefore came out of practical considerations to make the presence of the Romans in the area permanent, as well as symbolic reasons with the aim of marking the place as a sacred landscape of victory. The city lies at some 600 meters above sea level with prominent mountains that dominate the landscape. As was standard in Roman colonies, the plan of the city is rectangular and the blocks are arranged on a grid based on two main orthogonal axes. Much of the ancient town remains, and especially the famous Roman theatre. The layout of the town roughly follows the topography of the valley, but there was no compelling constraint determining the specific orientation. As it happens, one of the two main axes of the town is oriented to the rising sun at midwinter. When the town was planned by Augustus' architects, this direction pointed also to the rising of Capricorn, the sign that the first emperor elected as a symbol of his power. Therefore, we can say that Aosta was born under the sign of its ideal founder, Augustus.